We can put it on vibrate, please. Morning. The St. Croix District Board of Election monthly meeting scheduled today, February 5th. No call to order, Mr. Webster, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Delbert Amber Brand.
Here.
Mr. Roland Molinar. Present. Mrs. Lisa Harris Moore.
Present.
Mrs. Liliana Bellardo de Neal.
Present.
Mr. Rupert W. Ross Jr. Absent. Mr. Glenn Webster here. Mr. Raymond Williams. Absent. Mr. Chairman, we have 5 members present, 2 members absent.
Thank you. Any introduction of the staff of election system members, employees present, please mention your name for the record.
Ms. Caroline Fox, present. But again, Mr. Williamson did. I don't know if you excuse who present. He hasn't. He sent a request saying he will be after that.
Yes,
Deputy Supervisor of Elections, Genevieve Whitaker.
Trisha Johnson, Administrative Assistant.
Any member of the media or the public present, want to let the name, please?
Wendy Ambrose, St. Clair Avis.
Marvin Forbes, VI Action Group.
Jamie Ward, Source.
Scott Leiber.
Desmond Basco, concerned citizen.
Anyone else? Thank you. Mrs. Fox, you say you have a written request for notification from Ms. Boyer. Well, in the future, if any member, including myself, want to be excused or not present, we need to see something so we have in the record, so we don't start rating in the record. No, we don't want to rate in, we want to rate us. So, but you have a reason. I don't want to question within here. Just so we have an official record that member so and so requested to be excused, and I don't want explanation. I don't need explanation. But you have a record to be sure.
Well, they need to be sent to the Vice Chair and the Secretary. So you need to let them do that also in addition to sending it to us.
Sure.
Ballado has email, so I recommend they send it to Ms. Ballado and the Secretary.
I have no problem with that. So, all of us know. So only Mr. Ross and Mr. Williams need to know that.
Correct.
Thank you. As we move on, anybody have any other concern we need to address? As we move on, we have the old business and the agenda to update the most regional Central Election Office. So we never got a chance to address it since that emergency meeting. We had only myself and employee of the system here and individual members were absent. Not attend. Thank you. So I don't know how far we've gotten. I understand on 2 occasions the people visited and dusted and cleaned some facts. You want to bring us up to date now, or you want to tell us in the report? Well, we could have that portion addressed since it's a whole business. The last meeting we had no one attending but himself. So.
Well, the more issue, like the newspaper said, and I think the documentation said started back in October when I came. We did an assessment, had AdCon company come in and look at the facility. Since that, and you had your meeting, January 23rd, the persons came and cleaned the book and the cabinet. That internal area is the election system's responsibility. The air condition and the vents and the rest of the building is Sunny Isles' responsibility. They came and they cleaned from January 27th to the 31st. I shut down the place for the whole week. They gave some recommendations, so the guys now have to do monthly or quarterly maintenance of the air conditioning system and the vents. We are looking at some concerns with the books. The books issues are the pages issues. Moisture in the pages that's been there for years, that's still causing some of the concerns. We called AdCon in again to come back this week to look at some areas, and right now the employees are requesting masks and gloves, but no matter where you go, you're going with these same books, and so the books are the issue. The goal is to get rid of these books, and that will start that process hopefully in December after this election, because we want to automate the system, which is what we need to do. So we will be getting away from the books. But for this election, we have to go with the books, and some of the concerns are in the books, because again, they were in heat and bring them into moisture with the air conditioning in the building. That's just how it is. Those pages were developed back in the 50s, 60s, and based on the synthetic of the pages, etc., it caused some of the issues. So that's how we're addressing it right now, by gloves, masks again, and the books are clean. We're just having a check today, and they saw some stuff on it to make sure it's not stained, that's been there for a number of years.
I have a question, because I thought, and obviously I was wrong, but why is it we need to take the books to the polls? I thought that we had, by the last election, incorporated all the information from the books into the new system, into the e-poll books. That didn't happen?
Not fully, still got some work to be done. So again, the district board could decide, because I'm hearing the same thing as St. Thomas. They're saying the same thing, that they don't want to go with the books either. So that'll be a board decision, but we'll tell you where we stand after we do a upset with ES&S. By March, we'll know if the database is uploaded and it's ready to go out just where the e-poll books.
Okay, well that was, I don't know. I remember Brian is the only other person here who was here for that election, but I thought that was the whole point of the e-poll books, because that's why we did the last election, so that there could be a transition.
Exactly.
That's why I thought we didn't even have to deal with them, because I was surprised to hear that part of the whole issue was related to the books. I was like, why are they there?
But the issue is you got to put all the history out of the books into the system, and that's the part they haven't done, and that's the part we're trying to work on. So all they did was update 2012, I think, information, but we have to go back to 1996. So they're still going to have to deal with the books until we get all put it into the system. So we're looking at some measures to take care of that, whether we have a company scan them and then put them all in, or individually they have to input them in now one by one.
But, okay, now that drives another question. Why would we have to go back so far since people were purged after 4 years? I mean, why wouldn't it just be a 4-year period going back?
No, the system was, again, I'll give you one, but that's why it was contracted to go back from 96 to present.
Contracted with
ES&S.
Okay.
So it got, because you have some folks that registered back then that's still current, and you want to get a history, because when folks do reports and statistical information, you want to go as far back as you can. So if the person's record are here, we're going to input those records. Once we purge, it goes to inactive. It doesn't really go away anymore like the books. So it's a whole process which we're trying to work on, but it'll take some time. But the goal is, after this election, is automation. But after November, December, is all automated. So 2016 will be automated.
Okay, this is the last question. And you refer to a contract with them, so the contract specifically says that they were supposed to have done it by now, or what were the contract terms with respect to
Correct, it should be done by now, but I'm not sure. The employees have to do some roles too, and it takes time with the employees doing everything else instead of focusing on that, and that's what we're trying to do but we'll get to that at my next group. So yeah, we have some work to do, so we already started.
Anyone else have any concerns?
Ms. Johnson, anything did I miss?
I think I would like to add, to bring some people memory up to date. I think this was, if we look at here, if you look for a contract between ES&S in 2008, or when it was when Mr. John Young became governor at that time. They signed a contract with ES&S for a couple $100,000 for the e-poll books that were sitting here. There's a report from Mr. Abramson where he said that the joint board decided in August sometime that they were not going to use the e-poll books. They sat here at the meeting in terms of the joint board meeting again. Mr. Matthew Nelson, when he came in March 2011 or 12, he offered to exchange those e-poll books that were sitting here before in 2009 that were not being put in place, and exchanging for a new version at no cost to the government of the version for the election. So those e-poll books were here, compensated and paid for property procurement and finance. So from then, those books were exchanged, and the report Mr. Emerson told them that the board told them they were not going to use the e-poll books in the 2010 election, 2008. From there on, books were here, and then we brought in the people from ESNS, and they had the training right here with employees who work for the election system when the election day. A good bit of people came here, they were training them in St. Croix, and know for sure the e-poll books and the function right in the room that day. And from then to now, I think if we had needed additional staff, input information, we had more than reasonable time if we had to employ people or get additional help to input, because the provision, the agreement that ESNS would have assisted in the input of the documentation. So if we say now, at this date, they're not completed from 1996 on, and then we hear from Mr. Christian from West Company, Adcan, that those pages having some defects in them, how long can those pages sustain the legibility so that they can properly report or record or extract the information to put in e-poll books? So if those pages are going to be not in a legible position to be read from the staff putting it in there, how soon can the books be used at the polls and somebody, so they can't see the person's name in the book and the e-poll book don't have it? So how are we going to address that input, and how soon can the election system employees, we need election people to come in to do the work, maybe we can get them and from there we can have the book, but the HAVA monies had to be involved because it was a HAVA fund and it was supposed to utilize it to do a lot of things. And if these things are not completed, there is a portion that the advisory groups are supposed to be working on with the report. So these things need to be updated, but I can't decide the election system how they're going to address that unless the board jointly and not district-wise say that we're going to be here and they're not going to be here. So Cyclone and this board is only responsible for this. But I'm sure the employees here, if they're given the proper compensation and opportunity, if they have to work days in the evening, can start up, or get additional employees to do the work. So which one would you do? Tell us.
We are doing both. We started, because again, my goal is to get all the information in by November. The issue is every time it comes up, it's always the election year. Oh, we're preparing for election. So it hasn't been done from 2008 to now. And your concern is just correct. St. Thomas said the same thing last week. We keep saying, oh, we're getting ready for election. You go, I was being that mode. You're either getting ready or you're in an election. So we looked at it and we started. Groups were here up to 7 o'clock last night. I have folks coming in on the weekends. We're going to get all that database updated. I don't have the same situation in St. Thomas, but we'll address that. So we're working on it. That will be my answer.
Well, the reason why I put us into the record,
Correct. We working on
because
it.
at that report that Mr. Edmondson made, there was no history or no reason why they were not going to use the e-poll books, other than the board telling him that they were not going to use it. So if you look at the document, you should have some history of the reason why they did not use them, why they were waiting on that they had to exchange them. So the one that we have right now is the one to exchange on Mr. ESNS Chumilson, 2012, March.
I don't know. This is the ones I met here, so.
I don't think you were. Mrs. Johnson, these e-poll books that we have now, are those the ones that were exchanged when Mr. Nelson came?
Yes,
So the old ones were sent back,
Yes.
that were originally purchased, correct?
yes.
That's what it is. So they would not have had them to use since they didn't have any input. I don't have any input. The old books that they had, e-poll, had they had any information in them before?
The only way it can have information in them is if ESNS downloads the information to them
From where?
from Power Profile from the system.
So the Power Profile system was up at the time, 2008 and 2009?
We've been working on it all these years, and every time we try to continue to work on it, we have cancellation. We have something always comes up, somebody comes in to register, so we have to stop, do that, and that's the problem.
So you didn't have enough employees to continue the process?
We have the employees.
Okay.
We have enough employees, but like Ms. Fox said, or like you said, compensation. It can be done during overtime and on the weekends.
So we're looking at that. We are working on it.
No problem with it, but I want to be sure that we have the system, because the contract requires the ESNS assist.
They could do certain things, but they can't touch our life
No.
database. So we're working on it.
Anybody have any questions, concerns? All right. So we haven't received any written information from Sonia's people.
I spoke to them, the guy came by yesterday to look at what they've done, and the only thing they told me is they're going to do maintenance and air condition that have not been done. So that's what they're going to take, start doing, and I'll rate them to make sure when they do it.
That was in the original report of the kind that they had from October last year. And from then to now, I haven't seen any documents from them.
No, because we wrote them, and then November, and then we went into the season and whatnot, and they too have to go to their board of directors to get approval for funding, because that job that they came to do for that week cost over $10,000. So they go through their board system, get whatever money they got, and then they come and do the work. And then we have to now put that in our budget, which was budgeted to do the coverage that we are doing with the books, etc. So they came and do that now. That was just last week. So I look for a written report from Alcan and Sonians.
So could we get one from Sonians and Alcan as to how far they have gone since October this year? Because I met some reports, some individuals were questioning their name is asking them with the building. I know them when they see, but I don't know their names.
No, to Sonians.
No, they were here apparently asking him questions on the need of whether they came from. I don't know. He would have to tell you those people's name who he spoke to, but I know the gentleman that was there.
But it's being worked.
But as far as the entrance from the books and the pages, are they going to work on those pages that are damaged, or are they just going to?
We don't have much. Any pages? Based on the books we start showing pages are no cards are damaged, even though we have backup in the drive, so we do have backup to the cards. So that's not a big concern, but we look at the pages. So we do have backup, we're not just going to duplicate the triple.
So, yes,
I'm sorry.
No, more ahead. Before we proceed, with your mark, Mr. Ross, President.
Yes, I did.
Morning.
With respect to, you just referred to backup in the drawers, is backup for everything in the EPOL books and drawers?
I'm just talking about the cards. I'm just talking about the cards.
Well, when you say backup, I was trying to figure out what you meant. Does it cover all the history that you're talking about we need to input?
The history on the registration cards, on the cards that's in the book that goes out to the post.
Oh, okay.
The registration cards, a duplicate part, because you know the registration card has two parts.
Okay, so
The
this
other
is
part is in the drawer that does not have the history.
Okay. No, I was just, when you said that, I was like, well, why can't we use the cards? But now I understand. Thank you.
Any further questions, concern, discussion? Mr. Ross, Mr. Molyneux, Mr. Neal, Mr. Webster? No? Okay, so Mrs. Fatkin, by next weekend, we'll be able to get an update in writing from these people. Is Adcon or Adcon?
Adcon, A-D-C-O-N.
And Sonny.
Sonians.
The other issue we had was the item 2, the property procurement response or plan of action since the emergency meeting. Have anybody from property procurement, Mrs. Fox, come forward, visited, or asked any question, show any communication between property procurement since they were responsible, Sonia's or the system?
No, I think I would have to go to them, so they didn't show, they didn't come by.
When you said go, we will write them or they know?
Well, since this is a Sonia's issue and our issue, I didn't really involve property and procurement, they just hear what's out there. I thought the property and procurement class would be if you want to relocate or you want other facilities or etc.
No. Statute is clear.
I know they said that they're responsible.
So they're responsible, they got to get involved. Don't let them get off the hook and pass it on.
They didn't pass it on me, I just said they have not, but I could follow up to find out what they would need to come and do.
They have property procurement officers in St. Croix for those inspections. And I don't want us to wait until some employee called OSHA, and OSHA come in and then start another condition, even though the government don't become a victim from OSHA. So they don't do the government nothing, it's a company, even the private sector. Any concerns or questions about the property procurement? Anyone? No questions, no concerns. We move to the new businesses. Business is Secretary's report of last board meetings employed January 8th, January 22nd. Mr. Webster, Secretary.
Minutes from January 8th, 2014. have put in a quote there that I think we could use on this board. Don't let your ego get too close to your position, so that if your position gets shut down, your ego doesn't go with it. That's Colin Powell.
Before you go any further, that's your quote for Colin Powell, who made the opinion. They say Colin Powell tell us to go in Iraq.
Same quote, same one.
Instruction.
Chairman Brian called and regular monthly meeting in order at 9:45 at the Sunrise Annex. Those in attendance and constituting a quorum were Mr. Adelbert M. Bryan, Mr. Roland Molinar, Mrs. Liliana Bellardo de O'Neill, Mr. Rupert W. Ross, Mr. Glenn Webster, Mr. Reno Williams. Absent excused was Mrs. Lisa Harris Moore. Staff present were Ms. Caroline Fox, Supervisor of Elections, Ms. Genevieve Whitaker, Deputy Supervisor of Elections, and Ms. Tricia Johnson, Administrative Assistant. Others present were Evelyn Bascom, Tom Eder, Marvin Forbes, E. Joseph, and Bill Kostler, Juliet Liebert, Scott Liebert, Fiona Stokes, and Mr. James Wilson. The minutes were read by the Secretary following the usual introduction of all those present. A brief discussion ensued regarding what constitutes minutes and exactly what this board wanted to include in the minutes. The majority of the members wanted the names of the members who second motions made during the meeting to also be included in the record. No motion was made regarding this matter as it was a majority demand. So Member Webster agreed to comply with this demand of the consensus. First motion by Member Bellardo de O'Neill was seconded by Member Molinar. Move to accept the minutes as read by Member Webster. Motion passed with 5 members voting in the affirmative and 1 member abstaining, Member Ross. Member Molinar presented a summary report on machine demonstrations at Marine Chicken Shop, and the demonstrations was conducted during the annual St. Croix Copito Festival. There was the discussion, the need for the board to establish a rules and regulations committee for the purposes of developing and generating policy relative to the use of the GS200 electronic voting system. Member Williams volunteered to work on the operational side of the committee. Member Ross discussed the existence of a similar committee on the joint board level of which he is the chairman. The other members of the joint board rules and regulations committee are following: Ms. Lydia Hendricks, Mr. Lisa Harris Moorhead, Mr. Arturo Watlington, and Mr. Richmond. Second motion by Member Williams, seconded by Member Ross. Move to establish a St. Croix District Elections Operational Process and Policy Committee. The motion passed without dissent. The board has the obligation to conduct monthly voter registration drives in the community. Third motion in the meeting by Member Ross, seconded by Member Williams. Move to conduct voter registration on the last 2 Saturdays of January. One drive in Crichtonton and the other in Fredericksburg. It was amended by Member Williams and seconded by Member Bellardo de O'Neill. Move to conduct voter registration on Sunday, January 19, 2014 at Congregational Park in lieu of Saturday, January 18, 2014. Beginning at 3 p.m. and concluding at 5 p.m. To conduct registration on January 25th, 2014 at the said post office between the hours of 10 and 1. The motion was amended by Member Williams and passed by consent. Fourth motion for the retained was made by Member Williams and seconded by Member Bellardo. Move to incorporate voting equipment in DS200 along with all established voter registration drive sponsored by the St. Croix District Board. Motion passed by consent. Next discussion was Member Ross initiated a conversation that the board should decide at each meeting the voter registration schedule for that month. The members present agreed to this proposition without objection. Consensus of the members also agreed that the voter registration for the month of February should be conducted during the agricultural food fair. No motion was made yet this was decided upon unanimously. Chairman Bryan brought up the issue of the ID camera. It was a consensus decision to direct the newly registered electors to the Sunny's office in order to obtain the voter registration card. Supervisor's report. Why do I have copies of that? Discussion with the primary date is in August and the certification of the primary election is 15 days later. Commissioner of Finance has been notified regarding the stipend checks to the members. The members discussed the responsibility and obligation of the members to be present at workshops and meetings in order to be compensated with a stipend. Member Williams volunteered to chair the polling places consolidation committee. The need to expedite the official elections calendar and the decision to put candidate photo on the ballot needs to be made. Policy regarding spoiled ballots still has to be made, and policy regarding original ballots also needs to be made. Member Williams introduced the concept of possibly utilizing the Automark electronic voter equipment for the third person.
Okay, Mr. Webster, anyone have any questions or comments on the minutes? Member Moore?
Motion. We accept the minutes as read.
Motion to accept as read.
Second.
Hearing no objections, so either.
Motion,
Before, Mr. Webster, or Mrs. Maxwell, excuse me, remember you got your response from the people with this machine, what the problem is in it working in other place and what the, who's the company for the machine?
The machine has to be now, we can't find who's the company.
No.
Polaroid.
Because I still don't understand how a Polaroid machine only work in one place. That's something we see to find out.
It's all about the lighting or something.
There's a light in here, there's a light in there. Something about the functioning of the camera or the utility of the area need to be corrected. Because I don't see how machines are working here with light in the background and you can't work someplace else unless the manufacturers tell us what is the real problem. I understand that they don't have enough people to work the machine, and I think members of the board was trying to work. I think Mr. Webster, Mr. Molina was working it.
I did have issues when taking pictures. It was not taking pictures in that area. After a while, it started taking, it took like one picture, and then after that again, it wasn't taking any pictures after that point. So
was it
I
the
don't
machine
know what the
or the
problem is.
original machine?
Among that Polaroid camera, that's what we're talking about. In the beginning, the first couple pictures, they weren't coming out. Then I think one guy, two guys, I got two good pictures from them, and then after that point, it's was not working good again after that.
But those four Polaroid packages, they have dates on them. So I don't know if you have update packages, or somebody should be able to tell us why, if that same machine was used in here, you can't walk outside as opposed to the area, because if you have a backboard here and have lights in here, if you have a room that you gave Mr. Webster to put the camera in, the question is, what is about this machine function and operation with the cartridge that you're using this? So maybe we could, as Mrs. Fox said, maybe Mrs. Johnson could tell us more about suppliers and people who distribute the machine to us, so we could find out what the real problem is. That's what we do. Mrs. Mohan?
This may be a stupid question, but it's never stopped me before.
Oh, sorry, it's you, Madam.
I'm sorry.
Let's go to
Well,
the
I thought you were
I was-
continuing with this subject, sorry.
No, I need a motion on the minutes. You know the minutes.
I think we approved it.
No, I need to make a motion that henceforth the reading of the minutes should be the first thing after the roll call. I still move. Instead of after the roll minute, all the way down, though, we have it either after the roll call or introduction of the election system, so that we get rid of the reading of the minute first thing.
So where do you want your motion to start? After the introduction of election staff,
Yes.
Second.
move and seconded that before we go to old business, we now move the minutes to be read after the introduction of the election system staff. Any objection? Hearing none, so on. Thank you, Mrs. O'Neill. Mrs. Moorhead?
Yeah, on the same subject matter prior to the motion. With respect to taking pictures, this may be a stupid question. I'm by far not a techie, but why couldn't we use cell phones to take pictures?
They have to be superimposed on that ID card, that photo has to be
Right,
on.
but, okay, but when you do it, and that was with my next question, because I don't know what the process is, but I mean, pictures can be downloaded from a phone, just like from any place else, so that can't happen. It's a question. I have no idea if it can.
That was
I don't
why.
understand the camera myself, so Ms. Johnson would have to answer that picture. That question. Based on the camera that we have now, Polaroid camera, that's what we have. Where we go into in the future, could do all this stuff, you take for your cell phone or whatever, but there's another camera that's coming, it's digital, that will be hooked up to the computer, and that's what take the pictures and upload them right into the computer, and then they print out that card.
Yeah.
So that's what we're getting to, but right now with this old system, again, until November or December.
But wait a minute, so why can't we just, I'm sorry, but when you say a digital camera, you can get a digital camera at Kmart.
That's
But-
correct.
but Wait a minute, but it can't upload.
Power profile is specific,
Oh, okay.
has to be used, it's very specific.
And then it goes back to updating the data. If the history is not in the, we can't use this camera. So all of this plays into updating the history. So we're working on that. But the Polaroid is what we have now, and you know.
I think my concern would be, we're not going to be using a phone that anybody uses, as in a phone owned by the system.
Correct.
I don't think people feel comfortable that I use my phone to take their picture.
I wasn't
Another
saying
person.
your phone.
I want to be sure
Cell
because
phone.
I know it's a cell phone.
I ain't taking pictures of nobody.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I want to be sure we're not using our own
Correct. We get the
cell
system
phones
stuff.
and have photos of individuals that don't want us to walk around with the photos, because you can forward some big pictures of places all over the world and you don't want the custodian of the photos rather than here have it. But then if you have a problem now, somebody from that company should tell us why this machine can only work in here, and we need to do the function, the apparatus or something, because we're not tasked with getting this digital camera right now. So it's not going to be after that election, really. So we don't have a time to get this system. But I'm sure if we know what is wrong with that system, recommendations will be made to properly train the board members, if we don't have employees to do it, to operate the machine camera, because I don't think it's a machine going to operate it.
But
A point of information, Mr. Chairman, excuse me, Madam Mayor. Through the chair to the supervisor, is there any way possible that you can expedite the bringing of that camera, the purchase and having it set before?
No, because I'm saying again, once we go to that system, we're going to be uploading the document, the person information. When you come in to register, you're going to register online. It ties together. So until we're ready to start that process, we can't go with a camera without that process, because it goes right into the system, which is for our profile. And that's why we need to get all these cards uploaded in the system, because when John Doe walks in, his stuff gonna be in the system, but the other stuff gonna be in the books. So for this election, we can't do anything until after the election. Based on ESNS was here in December, this morning I'm going to you somewhere, and that's how it works. You have to, everything got to work together. So we can't have folks coming in to register and you put in some on a computer, and then we have some on the books. If the history is not in there, and you have one system going forward, you can't do both. So we asked that question, that's why they were here in December trading us, the printer is here and everything, but we need to stop one, let go of the old, and move on to the new. And it goes together. So when you walk in tomorrow, we're going to put you on the computer right into Power Profile. You sit with the camera, connect it to the computer, takes your picture, and you print out your ID card.
Okay. That's the question. I guess my concern, I was going to voice the same concern that member Laura O'Neill did about expediting it. But you're talking about, if I understand correctly, using a specific system, Power or something. But temporarily, it's not, and again, it's a question. It's not possible, when you now use the Polaroid camera, how do you, what is the process to upload it or put it on the card? What do you do?
Type the card on your typewriter.
No, but how do you get the picture on the card? You just cut it off and put it on?
The card that we type up, you insert that in a Polaroid camera and you take the picture.
Oh, it goes into the camera, okay.
Then the pictures.
Like superimposed. Okay.
So if I may finish, the systems will only be working in here, or is it transportable that you can move that new system that you're bringing in to a location? Because my belief is that we're going to go outside to have voter registration. If I come to register at the post office or school, I'm being told to come here someday. And the same day that employees are here already registered, people have a lot of work to be doing. So if you have the system functioning on the spot, post office, school, hospital, wherever, could that new system be remote, that the whole system is in this machine and probably come back right here and get a card, or you just have to still wait to come here to get a card?
We'll find out for you. Another option with it is they got a camera, they will say you could take out a picture if you need, everybody that you got, you kind of annotate, this was person number 1, 2, 3, 4, you come back to the office, you upload it to the computer, you print the pictures, and you mail the ID out to the person. So we're looking at some processes.
And that's going to cost money.
Not really.
But the same thing we have right now with the notice of cancellation. We send, the system and the board send out cancellation to individuals that have cancelled, but they don't put a return address stamp and postage for it to come back to you to know that those people didn't receive it. So if you can do the same thing to send out the voter ID, and somebody realizes the voter ID is coming in the mail, then somebody else with somebody voter ID coming and charge them with something that they didn't receive. So why can't we come with a system that, but this much, my position, that machine also better, because it can walk in here and make a card. But all we need is a board members willing to be the person taking the picture and recording information with the cards. Because that's what he was doing there, except that he couldn't get the machine and the film more properly.
Heat in the building?
Heat in the building?
Could be, I don't know.
They have a air conditioning building. All we need to do is make sure from the manufacturers what is required for this camera to work. So it's like work in here. Whether they need an air conditioning room.
You want a lot of lighting.
This is because I am an expert, but lighting is focusing on everything. But I'm saying if there is someone, the manufacturer can tell us what is the difference between in here and another air-conditioned room with lighting similar to that, is that we need to have a place like that, or we just can't get the camera working in places, and that don't make sense.
Absolutely.
But, and then it very well may be obsolete, but what he said, I thought what Member Molinar said was was successful in taking one picture.
Yeah.
So that shows it can work someplace else.
It's a function.
But it's just, something and it may, I know a long time ago when I had different ID stuff for jobs with that kind of antiquated stuff, there were drapes, outside the camera or whatever, and that may make a difference, but we just need to find out.
You need to export to the manufacturing machine, not in the shop.
We'll get you the information and we'll ask them. I also been networking with DMV, who had the machine years ago, and Mr. Christian is doing some research for us. So we are doing stuff to find out about the machine.
Okay,
We get that
roll call and motion. You have 2 motions. It's not the minutes as read.
We
Is that
accepted
the right
already.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Was he said without it, there was no objection.
No objection, so this one is no objection to.
Correct.
Which one is this one?
This one is yours, to read the minutes after.
Oh,
After the introduction.
So this same thing?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
no objection. Point of information, Mr. Chair.
This is the last.
In the minutes, right? Page 3, item 2. Member Williams made a motion to establish a St. Croix District Election Operational Process and Policy Committee. Have you taken any action on that, or are you going to assign people to that, or
Yes.
what's the status of that?
He said that he volunteered to establish a committee. He's not here today, so I don't know how far we got to who the members of the committee that he volunteered to. He was right there next to Mr. Molina the last time. So he's in here today, maybe you can find out when we see him at the next meeting. I don't know. Find out from him who the members are with him, or he's ever come back and tell us who the members were. Any other concern?
Procedural question.
Member Moore?
Even though he volunteered to head, I mean, I wasn't here, so I guess it's a point of clarification. If he volunteered to head the committee, is he picking the people, or isn't that your function?
Okay. I don't want to pick a committee for him, but he said, no, sure. If he pick a committee, then he lead it together.
My next point of information before we go to the other item, it's Mr. Ross had the conversation we should have every month. We should decide where we will have registration.
That's on the
Are we
agenda
going to
for
take
the-
that? That's my son.
It's
Are we
first.
going to take? Are we going to take a decision on that today?
It's on the-
That's on page 4.
Remember
Discussion.
we decided to go agriculture fair this month.
Huh?
Yeah, the February.
This month we decided is agriculture fair.
3 days.
So that will take care of this month.
Right.
Right?
And at the next district board meeting, we set the date.
In March, was it?
March.
Okay, no further questions.
Next item on the agenda.
Be right, or is it?
Yeah. The status and rules, regulations, meeting upcoming 240. Ross, come here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had interpreted that, I give a brief, I interpret that to reflect the bottom of page 2, which eventually,
Where's the page 2, page of the agenda, page of
the
the...
2 of the report, the secretary report, where Member Williams volunteered to work on the operational side of the committee.
That was operational, one was rules and regulations, and we were working on that.
Well, I know, but it started out being, this is fine, it started out being the need for the board to establish a rules and regulations committee. And I assume that the rules and regulations committee of this board was chaired by Mr. Williams. But I give you a status report on the rules and regulations committee that I was assigned to at the journey. We met on, as you know, at the last meeting, I established some dates which we would meet. I did notice was sent of the members to join us if they wish. We met on those dates. The other date was supposed to be today, but we had to cancel that. The 2 members in St. Thomas not available, and you can see Member Williams is out. So between now and February the 14th, when is the tentatively scheduled joint board meeting, the committee would meet and finalize its report and submit the recommendations.
Is Just to wait for the term, Mr. Williams.
And we would, when the decision is made to meet later this week or early next week, the members will be notified so if they want to join us.
Mr. Chairman,
Moving on.
question to the last. You'll be notifying us via email?
Yes.
That's it.
Along that same line, Mr. Ross, Mr. Mohill, do you have a copy of the letter from Mr. Williams about the closures and modules of relocation of the various polling places?
Yes, that's,
You have that?
yeah, that's another topic, I think, right?
And then also the election system, the May dates, red and blue on 3 pages. You prepared to discuss that with us?
We were talking about the new dates.
Yes, ma'am. And along with his recommendations for the relocation and closures, he made reference to the Thomas Williams and Charles Holland and Kennedy. So we're going to willing to.
We did not participate in that committee meeting. But we worked on,
Yeah, the current,
we worked on the calendar at the joint board meeting in December. And we worked on the rules and regs and bylaws of the joint board that was distributed in December. And that's basically what we're working on, presented to the joint board.
this will be presented at the joint board meeting.
Our report from the rules and regs committee, and the calendar basically was submitted. The joint board established a committee to review the calendar and submit it.
America vote.